guys, we are back here with another mock interview video. I'm João, I'm from Brazil. I'm software engineer at Turing. I've been working software engineer for quite some time now, and I worked with specifically web development with JavaScript, but I also dabbled a bit with C, Python, and other languages. Today I'm interviewing Manikanta from India, and let's hear a little bit about himself.
Hi everyone. So hi JP. So I'm from Hyderabad, Telangana. So I have completed my bachelor's in computer science from IIIT DM Developer. So I have been associated with many large MNCs like Oracle, DBS, and also British Telecom for a brief period. So my major focus areas are front end and also back end. So I have experience in Next.JS for almost 1.5 years now. Thank you.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you've been working hard throughout your career. I want to know a little bit more about Next.js projects you've been having.
As part of DBS, Cloud Migration Project, so I have worked in Next.js. I've been developing web pages in Next.js and deploying them on Lambdas. So we've approached a serverless model for that. So the project in itself is a very huge one. So consisting, I mean, we are tend to move all the websites on all the DBS websites from on-premise servers to AWS Lambda. So for last 1.5 years, I've been writing data fetching and also integrating components in the Next.js pages. So my more concentration in Next.js was towards the server-side rendering and configuring the Next.js apps onto Lambdas.
Nice, nice. Can we move forward with more technical stuff about Next.js?
Yeah, sure, Jay.
Great. I want to ask you first, what are the types of pages and websites that we can use and can create with Next.js?
Next.js, like we can start creating using, I mean, we can create in basically any type of website, maybe a single page website or any static website. So what major advantage of using Next.js is like we have more SEO friendly web pages and websites, and also most of these Next.js web pages are server-side rendered, and that helps in initial load times and better lighthouse results. And also they tend to build a very progressive web apps. So basically what we can achieve is a better performing website using Next.js.
That's great, man. Nice sum up of everything that Next.js is possible to do. That's great. So when we need to create a page that we need data from outside, so what are the best ways to fetch data depending on the types of page, of course?
Okay. So in Next.js, we have basically few concepts we can say of server-side rendering mostly. So there are SSR like server-side rendering, static site regeneration, client-side rendering, of course, and also dynamic routing and also incremental static regeneration. So for each of these concepts, we Next.js support different methods. So for SSR, we have get server-side props, which is the first method which is being called in the web page. I mean, server-side rendered page. For static site generation, we should be using get static props. And for client-side rendering, anyway, we add our use effects into React components, which actually renders at the client side. And for dynamic routing, we will use get static paths. And for incremental static site regeneration, we should use a get static props with the revalidate prop. So that will actually says site when to regenerate again. That's a few ways we can fetch the data Next.js.
Okay, that's awesome. So for static generated pages, we get the get static props, and if we add the revalidate option, and then it will regenerate that static files over time, right? And when
Yes,
the next fetch for the page, that's great, great work, man. So when I'm starting a new project, is it okay to use create React app, or are there other options?
so create React app is mainly used to create a React application, not necessarily a Next application, and it comes with a boilerplate code, we can say. And Next.js is an open source, lightweight, full stack React framework, you can call that. And it comes with an efficient build system and also other things like routing, API routing, and other features which make our development of a website easy. But in case of React app, we may need to add those libraries separately. So maintenance and configurability is required even after create React app.
Okay, so what would you suggest for people starting a new Next project? What command should I use?
Create a Next tab. Next tab.
Okay, so it comes with everything needed to start a Next application, right?
Yes, create Next tab. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, if we start with create React app, we can do a Next application, but you have to download a lot of stuff, right? And create other bundles and other boilerplate code. So yeah, that's great. So one nice feature that I like a lot about Next.js is code splitting. Are you familiar with code splitting?
Yes, I'm familiar with it.
Can you explain a little bit about the code splitting with Next.js?
Normally, we split the normal application or the web page website into multiple pages that can be accessed from different URLs, let's say. So each of these pages becomes a unique entry point into the application. So for code splitting, like it's a process of splitting the application's bundle into smaller chunks required by the each entry point. So suppose we have a few customer view and manager's view. So we have two different entry points. So we split the code into two different chunks, and they can be accessed individually. So the main goal here is to improve the application's initial load time by only loading the code required to run the particular view. So that's how Next.js has a support embedded into it using the pages directory, which actually splits its own code based on the pages which are mentioned under the pages directory. Basically the web pages which are mentioned under the pages directory.
Okay, that's a nice answer. Can you explain me a little bit better if I could do code splitting in the same page? Because you said that the different pages come with different bundles. And could I do for if the person is not using a component, it will not be loaded? Or there's a technique for that?
Yeah. In Next.js, we can approach the dynamic import way. It splits the code via inline function calls within modules. And it is mainly used to enable pages that can never load unnecessary code. Instead of loading the unnecessary code, it only loads those code when it is required. Loads the imports when it is required.
Yeah, that's great. Let's talk a little bit about something that's very popular right now, specifically for blogs and news outlets. That's AMP, Accelerated Mobile Pages. Can you explain me what it is first?
So AMP is an accelerated mobile pages. It's an open source web components framework. This is used for increasing the speed of loading web pages. And AMP imposes like very strict guidelines on the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript of a web page, controlling how external resources like media and other scripts are loaded. That's about AMP.
Okay. What's the advantage of using an AMP page? Because there's those strict ability that we have to remain like in a certain CSS limit of size limit and other HTML limits that we have to follow. But what do I gain for following those?
Okay, AMP web pages are like loaded directly into the Google's mobile search results with a lightning icon. So that's getting better SEO for us. And also they have better performance and better scalability. So that's why we go use AMPs. And they also like these websites are indexed faster in the browsers, like I said already. They are directly loaded in the Google mobile search.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and the CWV values also amazing with AMP. I once had like a case that I was changing some pages to AMP, and like the CWV score went from 60 to 99, you know. So that's great for CEO indexing, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If I want to use a AMP page with Next.js, how do I validate it?
Okay, so in Next.js, there is an inbuilt function, inbuilt validator, AMP HTML validator, which can be used during the development. And also like warnings, other fatal errors will be displayed in the terminal where the Next.js is started. And we can also configure our own custom validator in the next.config.js. And normally when we export the next app, right, using the next export, so those pages will get validated on the next export. So and the issues will be displayed on the terminal, and we can resolve the issues based on our needs.
Okay, great answer. So, well, like, what are the ways I could deliver AMP pages?
So normally we can deliver an AMP page based on two methods. Like one is AMP first pages. So these AMP pages are served to the primary traffic of a website as well as traffic generated from a search engine. So both the traffic will be served with the same AMP first page. Normally in the hybrid AMP pages, so there will be an AMP page which will be coexisting with a normal traditional page. So whenever search engine traffic requests for that, we serve it with an AMP page, and when there is a different traffic requiring the web page, we serve it with a traditional page. As far as the AMP in Next.js, so we can achieve this hybrid AMP using useAMP hook, and based on that we can serve. Based on that it will create multiple pages, AMP pages, and also normal page, and it will be served as accordingly.
Yeah, that's great answer. Yeah, and for the non like hybrid, the good thing is the user if who wants to choose the normal page or the AMP. Sometimes we have more functionalities with non-AMP pages. So yeah, that's a great way. So let's talk a little bit. Let's go out of AMP subject, and let's talk of one way of stylizing your components and your pages. So can you explain a bit more about styling, styled JSX with Next.js?
Okay, styled JSX is a CSS in JS library, which is used by the developers to write scoped and encapsulated CSS to style the Next.js components. So the styles introduced to one component with the styled JS will not affect the other components. It will enable the developers to add, delete, or change the styles without worrying that it affects the other styles or other elements.
So yeah, that's perfect. So could you explain me what are the benefits of implementing serverless on an application, and how would I implement it?
Okay. Serverless applications are meant to be less resource demanding, we can say. So they are provisioned on request or on demand from a customer or on a web server. Web clients. So what the model the serverless tries to achieve is a pay as you go. I mean the cost effective model, or pay for what you only use. So one of the example is AWS Lambdas. So we can provision AWS Lambdas at very low cost, and you pay only for what AWS Lambda is executing, or how much time it is executing. And for our project, we went with the same AWS Lambdas. So the environment on the AWS Lambdas was Node.js for the Next.js. And for to achieve that, we have to do serverless as a build target in the next config.js, and also add a CloudFront compat so that we can ingest the data into the Lambda or the Next.js method.
Okay. Very lengthy answer. I like it. Very good. We talked about this next subject earlier, and I want you to explain me a little bit more about it. But can you explain me SSR pages?
Okay, so SSR stands for, like I said, server-side rendering. So server-side rendered pages are rendered on a server or a serverless model. So basically, in normal traditional websites before this tend to render everything on a client web browser. So that may be so the user experience for that will be different for different users. So to more or less achieve the same user experience, so we tend to render the whole web page on the server, or in this case AWS Lambdas, and deliver the pure HTML or HTML and in plain HTML and CSS, and very least JS onto the client side. So that the initial load times will be faster, and the page will be readily available in the browser. So this is one of the advantages of using SSR. And to use SSR in a page in Next.js, so under pages directory in Next.js, for each page we need to add a get server side props method. So that server side props method acts as an initial data collector or initial data fetching for the server side web page. And it's an async function, and this is called every time a request is made to the Next.js app.
Yeah, that's a great explanation. Something that I like a lot about SSR and other techniques to render on the server are the security. You don't expose your backend or other APIs because everything is doing on the server. And yes. Low-end devices with small processing power also benefits with it because it only gets static pages, right?
Yes.
But that was a great explanation nonetheless. And I think that's it. Thanks a lot, Manikanta. That was a great talk.
Thank you, JP.
All right, so everybody that's watching us, I hope you have a great time as well, as we did. And if you want to see more mock interview, we already have a lot of videos on the platform, and you can always comment down below if you want any other subject that we didn't do before. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up. That helps us with the algorithm and helps us to understand what you guys like to see more. Okay, see you guys later. Thanks and have a great day.